Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? Come on in and sit down at the dinner table because you know that I got some good food for the soul, my brothers and sisters. As a matter of fact, my brother and sister, go ahead and invite some more family members and friends and whoever you see out there, go ahead and invite them to the dinner table because we got plenty of room and we got plenty of that food for the soul. If this is your first time looking at the broadcast, or if this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about and on relationships. When I say about and on relationships, I strongly believe that when you look at a relationship, I look at it from a biblical point of view. And when I say a biblical point of view, I strongly believe that when you look at the account in the book of Genesis, God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Third, brought the woman to the man. And in the presence of God, the man Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That's what I believe when it comes to a relationship. Now, if you have another point of view or another preference when it comes to a relationship, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. Hold on for one moment, my brother and sister. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I had to make an adjustment there. But anyway, my brothers and sisters, if you have a different thought on relationship, you have what is called a free will. But I'm just letting you know where I come from at the dinner table. I strongly believe from the biblical account when you go back to the book of Genesis. Now, if you don't agree with it, God gave you a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But at the dinner table, I'm just letting you know clearly that I believe strongly that God created the man and the woman. He created one man, one woman. And when you look at the animal kingdom, he had males and female when he brought them to Adam. So that's the position that I've come from. Now, I still, if you believe in another type of relationship, I still invite you to sit down at the dinner table and get some of this good food for the soul. Well, that said, my brothers, and that said, my sisters, I'm talking to two different, we're not two, but on two different platforms. I'm talking on the book and on the tube. Those of you on the tube, I may make some comment to those that are on the book, which you don't see their comments. And those of you on the book, I may make some comments to those on the tube. You don't see their comment, but I will call out their names. So we're family here, my brothers and sisters. Okay, we're family here. I hear sound like some law enforcement out there are going down the street. But whatever. Let's get back to the topic. And you don't want to miss this one. This is a very good uh, topic tonight. And when you look at the menu, when you look at the top of the menu, we're going to discuss the topic. Should a woman be willing to consider sharing a man with another woman? This is the topic that we're going to talk about at the dinner table tonight. Now, my brother and sister, I encourage you, if you have a thought that you want to share, you can share your thought or your feelings about this particular topic, but be very, very respectful, okay? Be very respectful. And if you see something that a brother or sister say, if you have a comment, be very respectful because we family here, okay? At the dinner table. How you doing, Sister Sherry Smith? Welcome to the dinner table. Now, when you look at the menu, let's look at the menu. Let's go down the menu and see what we got cooking tonight. Okay. Should a woman be willing to consider sharing a man with another woman? Now, check this out, my brother and sister, and you know this very well. There are some women that are totally against or refuse to share a man. There are some women that don't know that they're sharing a man. There are some women that are willing to share a man. And the real question is, some of you sisters, if you're interested in having a relationship with a man, which one are you? Are you the one that refused to share a man? Are you the one that don't know that you're sharing a man? Or are you willing to share a man? This is what we're going to talk about at the dinner table tonight. Now, my brother and sister, in different parts of the world, it is an acceptable practice for some men to have more than one woman in his life. And in the Western world, primarily, the United States of America tolerates men catering to more than one woman than a woman catering to more than one man. Let's stop here for a moment, my brother and sister. Have you ever considered this? Just think about it, my brother and sister. Have you ever considered this? Have you noticed that, how you doing, Sister Teresa Thomas? Welcome to the dinner table. Have you noticed, my brothers and sisters, that a man, and we talking about the Western world, primarily the United States of America, have you noticed that a man is normally given a bye when it comes to catering or have a relationship with multiple partners than a woman catering to more than one man and having multiple partners? How you doing, Sister Cynthia? Welcome to the dinner table. Those you coming in tonight, when you look at the menu, what we're talking about tonight, should a woman be willing to consider sharing a man with another woman? Now, the first documentation of a man having more than one woman, believe it or not, is in God's word. So don't get ahead of yourself, my brother and sister, because I'm going to tell you a real good, profound thought as we go on with this topic at the dinner table. Like I said, the first documentation of a man having more than one woman, and he didn't have a girlfriend, they were his wife. This fella had two wives. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. When you look in the book of Genesis, again, the book of Genesis, chapter 4, 23 through 24. Again, the book of Genesis, chapter 4, 23 through 24. The book of Genesis, chapter 4, 23 through 24. It said, one day, Lamech said to his wives, wives mean plural. He was talking to Ada and Zillah. He said, thank you, Sister Cheryl, for writing that down. He said, hear my voice, listen to me, you wives of Lamech. I have killed a man who attacked me, a young man who wanted me. If someone who kills Cain is punished 7 times, then the one who kills me will be punished 70 times 7. So the first documentation of a man having more than one woman is in the Bible. And we're going to get to it, whether God approves of it or not. So keep that in mind. We're going to talk about whether God approves of a man having more than one woman, and is it okay with him. Then we have, it's documented in the Bible again, where King David and his son Solomon had multiple women, but they didn't have multiple women, they had multiple wives, okay? And then let's look at Abraham, his wife. He had a wife named Sarah, and then he dealt with Hagar, the handmaiden of Sarah. And then we're going to talk about Abraham's grandson, which is Jacob, as we know, Israel. Jacob had 2 wives. As a matter of fact, the wives that Jacob had, he was involved with 2 sisters. And one of the sisters was named Leah. She was not that attractive. And then he had one called Rachel. She was attractive, very attractive. And the Bible said that Rachel, she was easy on the eyes. So, sister, if a man said you easy on the eye, that means that you look very appealing. You're very attractive. As a matter of fact, when it comes to a beautiful woman, the Bible clearly shows you that Abraham's wife Sarah, she was a very attractive woman when she was up in age. You talk about Sarah was so attractive. Sarah could have had men fighting over her. That's just how beautiful Sarah was. And then, you know, also in the Bible, it had Esther. Esther was a beautiful woman, you know, but Why am I saying it? What happened to the relationship that I just mentioned? In every one of those relationships, when a man had multiple women, there normally were issues and problems. When you look at it, every relationship that I just named, there were basically issues and problems in our relationship. Now, back to the dinner table, should a woman be willing to consider sharing a man with another woman? Okay, brothers and okay, sisters, what are your thoughts on this topic that we're having on the dinner table? Sisters and brothers, it's one of three things. If a woman is interested in a man, you're gonna have to face a decision, sister, basically. Okay. Should a woman refuse to share a man? That's a question for you, brother and sister. Should a woman refuse to share a man with another woman? Should a woman be willing to share a man with another woman? And lo and behold, there are a lot of women, you are sharing a man and you don't even know it. So basically, sisters, it's going to come down to one of those categories. Sister Teresa Thomas said, yes, refuse. I almost caught a case of a woman at my husband's job asking him for help. So Sister Teresa said, one of the sisters that say she refused the thought of a woman sharing the affections, her affection with another woman when it comes to another man. Now, let me tell you this, my brother. Let me tell you, my sisters. In our society, and I'm narrowing it down right now to the United States of America, where most of the viewers are at. Yeah. There are some men in the United States of America, they take the practice of the Middle East and everything, and they believe in the practice of polygamy. So what is polygamy? To break it down, polygamy is basically a relationship where there are multiple partners. That's what polygamy is. And then there are a lot of men that believe in the concept of a polygamy relationships. And believe it or not, my brother and sister, there are some women that accept that practice of polygamy. And there are some relationships that there could be a man and there could be more than one woman that have knowledge of the other woman and they living up under the same roof. There are just some relationship like that. But then there are other relationships whereas the woman said, ain't about to be no other woman but me. And the real sad part is when a woman may think she's the only one because the man have lied to her and it's more than one. Okay. So, and I have a question, my brother, and I have a question, my sister. Do you think God approve of a relationship of a man having multiple women, or to say it differently, different wives? When you look at it from a biblical perspective, there are two ways to look at it. From a biblical perspective, God allowed it. And what do I mean by God allowed it? Do that mean God endorsed it? That was not God's original plan. Let me just put it out there. That was not God's original plan. But God allowed a man or men to make a decision based on their free will. Now, when you look in God's word, when it was talking about elders and deacons, the Bible specifically say that they supposed to be the husband of one wife. So the question is, does God endorse a man having more than one woman? I could tell you this. When you look at it going back to the book of Genesis, God created Adam and he created Eve. He did not bring several women to Adam. He did not do that. I'm going to tell you this too, your brother. Listen to what your brother talking about to say. If you decide to get in a relationship with multiple women, especially if you're going to have multiple women living up under your roof, you're going to have some problems. Yes, the women that live up under your roof, they know one another, but you're going to have problems. Brother, if you have more than one woman living up under your roof, you know yourself. So Teresa said, I'm a jealous woman. If I can't be his only help me along, then he won't be my husband. As we see in the Bible, a lot of jealousies was in Sarah's case and in Leah and Rachel. Sister Teresa got a valid point. There was a problem among the ladies. And let me tell you this, brother, you need to be aware of this. And sister, you need to be aware of this. For you sister that decide to live up under the same roof with a man, let me tell you this, that man cannot quote unquote love you equally. A man doesn't have the capacity to love two or more women equally. He does not. So if you are in this type of relationship, my sister, one of you going to be slighted. It's just a fact. And you know about one another. One of you going to be slighted because he's going to favor one over the other. Just like in Jacob's case. When I said Jacob, I'm talking about Israel. Israel was married to two sisters, Leah and Rachel. And Leah used to pick at Rachel because Leah, she was more fertile than Rachel. And she used to pick at Rachel. And they had a clash. But eventually God opened up the womb of Rachel, and she brought to this world Joseph, which you all familiar with, that was taken into slavery. He was accused of raping Potiphar's wife, and he became the second most powerful man in Egypt. And Joseph's brother by his mother Rachel was Benjamin. Okay, so it was some problem with those ladies, because one lady saying, I could have some children and you can't. And then there was another situation whereas let's look at Abraham and Sarah. Sarah had a handmaid named Hagar. God had told Abraham that him and Sarah, he was going to give them a son, a child. But Sarah and Abraham, they thought they could help God out. Time went by and God was not moving fast enough for Abraham and Sarah. So Sarah came up with this idea and she presented it to Abraham. She said, I want you to take Hagar and bring up a son through her. So when Hagar have a child, it's going to be my child. So you got to understand, Hagar, she was like a servant of Sarah. So what did Abraham do? Abraham went and had physical intimacy with Hagar, and Hagar got pregnant by Abraham. And when Hagar got pregnant by Abraham, she got the big head. She thought she was the stuff over Sarah. And I could imagine her looking up and down at Sarah. I could have a child. So theoretically, Hagar was like Abraham's wife because he had physical intercourse with her, right? So Sarah eventually had a son, Isaac. And what happened? When Sarah had the son, Isaac, Hagar's son, Ishmael, I believe that's his name, started picking at Isaac. So that was a clash with the boys. So Sarah went to Abraham and said, that woman that you laid with and her child. But remember, Sarah, the one who presented it to Abraham. Abraham had a decision to make. So you know what Abraham told Sarah? You do with her whatever you want to. So what did Sarah do? She kicked Hagar and her son out. And when Hagar and her son went out, Hagar thought that was going to be it. But the Lord, the angel of the Lord, the angel of the Lord, my brother and sister, was not none other than Jesus himself. But he was not called Jesus at that time, because Jesus made different appearances at different times on earth. The first appearance when Jesus came and he met Adam and Eve in the garden. So Jesus always was in existence. Keep this in mind, my brother and sister. Jesus was always in existence, okay? So he blessed Hagar's son, Ishmael. So what happened? You know why it's so many problems over in the Middle East, my brother and sister? The problem was called, you see, you have the Arabs having this big confusion with the Israelites. The Israelites saying this is our land, and the Arabs saying this is our land, and both of them claiming Abraham as their father. And truly so, both of those descendants did come from Abraham. But Ishmael was the son of the bondswoman, and Isaac was the promised child. So those two boys descendant, that's why they keep clashing over there in the Middle East, because of that type of relationship. And how you doing, Brother Lee? Then let's talk, and then King Solomon. King Solomon had 1,000 wives. 1,000 women. 700 of them were his wives. The other 300 were like his concubines. Solomon had problems with women. You know why Solomon had problems with those women? Because he was faithful to God. But when Solomon got involved with those women, plural, they stole his heart away from God. You understand? They stole his heart away from God. So what I'm telling you, it appears like when a man had more than one woman, he got more problems. Bigger said when he was alive, but he would talk about money. He said more money, more problem. But more women, more problem. Now let me tell you this, brothers. Let me tell you this. If you decide to have a relationship with more than one woman, you know yourself, brother, that you can't give them your all. It's just like this group called Guy. And they had a song, I can give you a piece of my love. The lead singer, Aaron Hall, he said, I can't give you all of me because I'm not totally free. I can't tell you everything that's going on. That's what Aaron said in that song, I can give you a piece of my love. So any of you women and the man dealing with more than one, it don't have to be but two women. He cannot love both of you equally. If there is a wife, listen to me carefully. If there's a wife, the chances of that wife being over you is basically true. Now, there are some cases where the man, he treats the other woman better than the wife, and he had more affection towards the other woman. There are some cases. But in most cases, I'm not saying all, but in most cases, the man going to make sure, quote unquote, in his mind, that the wife is top priority other than the other woman. So I'm telling you, if you sisters decide to date a man that got multiple women, you are ranked. But the question is, where are you ranked in that thing? Because a man, there's no way. Let me tell you something. When a man is dealing with more than one woman, it could be taxing. Now, I'm talking to you, brother. If you full-heartedly going after more than one woman, wholeheartedly. Brother Henry say the children will fight earth others. It's a possible the children will have a relationship. That's true, brother. That's true. How you doing, mother? Welcome to the dinner table. Brother Lee, welcome to the dinner table. So, sister, let me tell you this. I started from, let's say that, sister, you accept living with the woman, I mean the man and the woman. And I have told you all this before. I have told you all this before. And I'm going to tell you again because some of you never heard this story. A few months back, there was this young damsel. I guess she was in distress. This young damsel, she contacted me, and I was thinking that she wanted to talk about some type of relationship problem. Because as you all know, I do counseling too. For couples in relationship, I do counseling too. That was the one lady I thought she wanted some counseling, right? So she contacted me, and when she contacted me, I'm ready to do business, right? And she said she want to be my wife. That's what she told me. She said that she want to be my wife. Now the complication part is I already have a wife. And she know that I had a wife. So she want to be my wife. And I said, when she presented that to me, I'm wondering, okay. And for entertainment purpose, I got the proverbial bag of popcorn to see where this was going to go. So I listened to what this young lady was talking about. She stated that she's retired. She got everything together, and she was willing to move to the city where I'm located, right? And I asked her, how does this supposed to work? And she stated that she could move right here to the city where I'm at, and she will go ahead and buy a house. How you doing, my little sister Renee? Welcome to the dinner table. She said that she will buy a house, and she said that you still could stay with your wife, and I'll be your other wife, and I just stay in the house. And I said, well, you still ain't telling me how this supposed to work. She said, whatever you're doing with your wife, you do it with me. I said, how that supposed to work? She said, you know everything you're doing with your wife. This lady was dead serious. She said, you know everything you're doing with your wife, you do it with me. And then she came up with this other proposal. She said, as a matter of fact, we could all live together. And I said, how that's supposed to work? She said, well, I'm willing to do it. The question is your wife willing to do it? But I knew not to run that by Cinderella, because I knew Cinderella wasn't going to play that. You see, it's just like you all used to see that show called Living Color. Damon Williams, he used to have this. He used to have this this character called Homer the Clown. What did Homer the Clown say? Homer don't play that. Cinderella wasn't going to play that. And I already knew Cinderella wasn't play that, but it was entertaining to me. But the young lady, she was serious. So in retrospect, there are a lot of women that they buy that stuff. There are a lot of women that agree to live together with this one man. But for those women that live with one man, if you one of these women that living up under the roof with one man, let me tell you something. You got an order. And the order is what place you in. And you know what? Words don't have to be said. You're going to be able to tell by the woman that the man get the most attention to. That's your key. If you decide to get a relationship with a man and he have more than one woman, to answer your question, one gonna get more of the shine than the others. He can't treat you all differently. I mean, he can't treat you all equally. No way. He could try his best to do it, but no way. And what's gonna happen if you agree to that type of relationship? Some of you sisters, you're going to eventually get envious and jealous of the other woman. It's going to happen because the natural thing about a woman want to be number one in the man's life. I ain't talking, I'm not talking about Jesus. Now I'm talking about when it comes to women. A woman wants to be number one in a man's life. There are not really many women that want to be number two. Not many women. And let me talk about this other part too. Now, if a man has this one main woman, if a man is living with a woman, and let's say he's married, and he decides to see a woman on the outside, one or two things going to happen. He's going to be have more of allegiance to his wife, which most of them will, or he will get more of allegiance to the other woman, because it does happen. A man could be married and he could have more, he could shower the other woman with more attention and affection than the wife. Those cases are possible, but more than likely, the wife gonna get priority. There are some relationships where the wife, she clearly know that the man got a woman on the side, and the other woman, the wife know about the woman, and the woman know about the man. But you know what some wives tell their husband? Do and this is the philosophy for some women: whatever you're doing out there, do it in a respectful way. That's how some women say, if you do what you're doing out there, and I know what you're doing, do it in a respectful way. Don't have that woman call in my house. I don't want nothing to do with that woman. There are some relationships that like that, but there's problems. Still, the man, he's going to be showing one of the women. If a man have different women, guess what, brother? The more women you accumulate, it's going to be taxing on you different ways. It's going to be taxing on your mind. It's going to be taxing on your emotions. It's going to be taxing on your body. And it's going to be taxing financially. What do I mean by that? Brothers, we know that men are mostly mental, right? And women are emotional. You're going to have to deal with two beings that are emotional. And the feelings and stuff go up and down. So it's something being with one woman and you dealing with the ups and downs sometimes. But when you go start adding more women, you got more issues to deal with mentally. Then emotionally, both women, they're gonna want your attention and your affection, but you can't give them both the same thing. You can't do it. Brother Henry said, female from other countries are married for citizenship because it's the practice of their nation. That's true. The past election, some states are asking for marriage laws to change. That's right. 15 states are asking to marry underage children. Yeah, that's a tragedy. That's right, Brother Lee. Sister Teresa said that is not God's way. The world that allows her husband to be soul tied to another woman, that's not good. I see your point too, Sister Teresa Thomas. So, sister, the thing about it is this. You got a decision to make. Now, let's say you the outside woman. If you the outside woman and the man have more of allegiance to his wife, you know what's going to happen? In most cases, this is what happened. This is what happened on most cases. Let's say that the man actually tell this other woman that he is married or he's in a quote-unquote relationship with another woman. But let's take it from a marriage standpoint. Let's make it married. He tell the woman that he's married. And a lot of women, they think that they can deal with it. They think they can really deal with it. But if the man start treating a woman, the outside woman, like she's the apple of his eyes, guess what? Eventually, brother, it's going to change. When this woman start feeling that you treat her real special and that you treat her as if she's number one, guess what? Even though she had knowledge of the wife, or if you quote unquote playing high with someone, the terms of the verbal contract is going to change. And you know when it's going to change. She's going to bring up the topic one day. What am I to you? That's how she's going to present to you. She's going to say, what am I to you? And then you're going to be wondering what you're talking about. And then even though she knew the terms at the beginning, she's going to flip it on you. I'm telling you, in majority of the case, they're going to flip it on you because of their feeling. They're gonna become the victim. And they're going to say, you treat me like I'm, like I'm just somebody just to have sex with. Stuff like that. And most of the time, that conversation going to come up right after y'all do that little thing in the bedroom. That's when she's going to more than likely bring up that topic, what am I to you? And then you're going to be laying there and you're going to be thinking, well, we have an agreement at the beginning that she knew I was married. She knew I was married. And now she wants something more out of it. Brother, it's going to happen. Because she got emotion, it's going to happen. Unless she's trying to play like she a business lady and she got some other things on the side, what she dealing with. Let me tell you something, some of you brothers. If you're married and you're dealing with a side woman, let me tell you this. Do not expect loyalty from your side woman. Because you got a wife. And this what gets some of these guys. You got a wife. And even though you're paying this woman house bills, you're paying her car notes and all that kind of stuff, the bottom line, you got a wife. And a lot of the side women, some of you brothers, you need to know this. They dealing with other men. Bro, Lee said, yeah, better sleep with one eye open and cook your own food. That's right. So let me tell you something, some of you guys, you think that because you catering to a side woman and you giving her money, you taking care of her, you taking care of her just like your wife, right? But yet you're not married to her. Let me tell you, she's not obligated to you. But you think she obligated to you because you paying her bills and stuff, right? And you got a key to the house or the apartment, right? Because you paying the rent or you paying the mortgage. Just because you got a key to the house or to the apartment or something, or you paying the car note, let me tell you what's going to happen. More than likely, she's going to be seeing somebody else because she know your schedule. When you go home to your wife, because she know your schedule, she know your pattern, she's going to have Rico coming over there cooking the steak that you bought. Rico going to be sucking up the air of the air conditioner and enjoying the heat. Rico going to enjoy everything that you paying for on your dime. The car that you paying the car note to, Rico going to be driving that car. The money that you give to her or the credit card that you give to her, she going to probably convert it to money. And then she's going to be buying Rico some clothes and stuff off of your money. And more than likely, Rico probably ain't got a job. But she's going to be taking care of Rico. And then when you go over there trying to be belligerent and crazy, you know what she's going to throw up in your face? You married. And then when she said you married, she might threaten you and say, I'm going to tell your wife. Sister Teresa said he better hope God don't take his life because he's going straight to hell for unrepentant sin. And how you doing, Sister Parker? Welcome to the dinner table. So, brother, if you decide to get a side woman, do not expect loyalty. I'm telling you, brother, do not expect loyalty. Some of you going to expect loyalty out of the side woman, right? What make you think she's going to be loyal to you? Because y'all had an agreement, because you call yourself straight up telling her that you married, so that's gonna buy you loyalty. The bottom line is she's not married to you. She doesn't owe you loyalty. She doesn't owe you loyalty, brother. And you're gonna find out about it eventually. But some of you, brother, y'all living in cartoon land, and you really think you really want to put all your trust in a situation like that, right? You really do, don't you, brother? You really, really do. Do you really want to take that chance? Now, some of you sisters, I hope that I'm not talking to you, some of you sisters. Some of you sisters, you have knowledge that the man have a wife, or he quote unquote got a main woman and stuff, and you decide to get in a relationship with that man, and you know another woman exists. Do you expect loyalty also? Do you expect loyalty? Why should he be loyal to you? He may be loyal to you. That's a possibility. He may be loyal to you. Let me tell you what a lot of women think. I ain't gonna say you sister, but let me tell you what a lot of women think. A lot of women think that if a man have a wife and he dealing with the side woman, if you the side woman, you think it's just you and the wife, right? You think it's just you and the wife. It could be you, the wife, and some more people. You see, the thing about it, you know about the wife, but you don't know about the other woman or women. There's a possibility. And on the other side, too, some of you brothers, you think that if you're dealing with this woman, you think it's just you and her, right? It could be you, her, and other men. So you need to wake up and you need to smell the coffee. It's not going to go right. And let me tell you this, some of you sisters that know that the man is married. Let's say that the man leave his wife for you. Let's say that the man leave his wife for you. When the man leave his wife for you, you expecting 100% loyalty, right? Because he came to live with you or he left his wife for you. So he leave his wife for you. And y'all could even get to the point, y'all could even get married. And you know what's going to happen? More than likely, he's going to see somebody else like he was seeing you when he was seeing his wife. More than likely, you're going to start seeing somebody other than him. You know why? Because God doesn't bless mess. Sister, if you know that the man was married and he actually leave his wife for you, primarily for you, do you really think God going to bless it? I know some women right now, they knew that the man was in a relationship with the wife, and the man up and left his wife for these women. The man get married to these women, and on basically all the occasions, the man starts seeing another woman or women. That's what normally happens. The man starts seeing other women or women, and then these women, they get so tormented, they start crying and want to know, why he doing me so wrong? Why is he doing me wrong? I'm so good to him, my Lord, to him. But a lot of these women don't think you knew that he had a woman before he left for you. So what make you think God going to be in your relationship? He's not. God don't bless mess. So sisters, so Teresa, me too. I know women are adulterers too. That's right. And let me tell you this, brother. Let's put a little more spice in this. Some of you brothers, if you're dealing with a woman that got a husband, right? What make you think if she leave her husband for you, what make you think she gonna be 100% with you if you have knowledge of it? More than likely, when the woman that you were that was dealing with, that was married to a man, more than likely she came and told you what her husband did and did not do to her, right? And she gave you that sob story. and you were there to counsel her, quote unquote, right? So she leave her husband and then to live with you or even marry you. When she start having issues with you, you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna start seeing another man or men, and she's gonna do the same thing to those men that she did with you. She's gonna tell those other men what you did and what you did not do. That's exactly what she's gonna do. Because you see, when you look in the book of Ecclesiastes, King Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. A lot of time when these men and women be talking to me, I can already see where it's going. Because God allowed me, he didn't allow me to see the person, but he allowed me to see the pattern and the result of what's going to more than likely happen. Brother Lee said, true, Will Smith wife brought that mess in their house. That's right. That's right. And you see what happened with Will and Jada's situation, right? The entanglement issue, right? Let me tell you this too, brothers and sisters. There are some men and women, they into that situation where they agree to let other people come into their relationship. This is called swinging. There are some swinging clubs where a husband and a wife more than likely will go, and they'll go to this establishment, and they got other people that believe in this philosophy, and they share husband and wives together, but they have a quote unquote agreement. Let me tell you about those type of things. If a man and a woman, wives and husband, if they agree to let a partner come into their relationship and they have to sign off on it, let's say for instance, the woman wants to see a man and she present this man to her husband, and the husband got to check out, yeah, you could deal with him, or vice versa, you could deal with them, and you think it's gonna go according to the script, right? No, somebody gonna go off the script. Brother, if you let your wife, if you agree to your wife seeing another man, and she have to let you know everything, she's not going to let you know everything. She might let you know everything from the beginning, but she's going to go off course. And the same thing, sister, you got that agreement at the beginning, but he's going to go off course. I've seen it happen so many times. Let me tell you all this. Some years ago, when I was dating, before I met Cinderella, I was dating. There was this one young damsel, this another young damsel. You know what she presented to me? She said, Tony, I want to see you with another woman. I said, what you mean by you want to see me with another woman? She said, I want to see you in the bed with another woman. I said, why you want to see me in the bed with another woman? She said, because that's exciting. And I said, that's exciting to you? I said, that's not exciting to me. And then she said, then I said, oh, and then you gonna want me to sit and watch you with another man, right? She said, yeah, that'll be fun, wouldn't it? I backed out of that because that was crazy. That was some crazy stuff, my brothers and sisters. That free, excuse me, that free of charge anyway. Now, here's the question for some of you. Some of you may be asking this question right now. Does God approve of a man having multiple women, or to say it differently, wives? Again, some of you may be asking yourself, does God approve of a man having multiple wives, women or multiple wives? When we look in the Bible, it wasn't about multiple women. It was basically about, yes, it was, in Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar case. Hagar was the other woman. She was a born servant of Sarah. Hagar was. Did God approve of that? Let me tell you, in that case, God did not approve of it. Let me tell you why he did not approve of it. Because God told Abraham and Sarah, listen, that he was going to get him a child. But Abraham and Sarah, they called themselves, they got impatient because years had went by, right? They got impatient. So they did it their way. And their way have a whole bunch to do with what's happening over there in the Middle East between the Arabs and the Israelites, based on their decision. That was not God's will. God in the Bible, it said the born woman was not going to inherit, and I'm paraphrasing there, the promise. The promise was going to Isaac, not the brother, his brother by Hagar. That was not God, that was not in God's plan. But God's plan still went on. With Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, that was not God's plan. By Jacob, Israel dealing with two women, those two sisters clashed. That was not God's plan. David and his wife, that was not part of God's plan. Solomon and all those women, that definitely was not God's plan. So some of you saying, why did God allow it to happen? Because God give us what is called a free will. So those men decided to do it. They had what's called a free will. So God, let me tell you something, my brother and sister, God does not stop the free will of a man and a woman. Even though God got a plan, God's plan going to happen anyway. Regardless of whatever a man or woman does, God's plan is going to happen anyway. But when you go against God's plan, you bringing problems to yourself. So let's let Adam answer that question. Let's let Adam. Who is Adam? Adam was the first man that God created with Eve. Let's let Adam answer that question. This is what Adam said. As it is written, and it's written in Genesis, but I'm going to take this from Ephesians 5:3. Ephesians 5:3. Ephesians 5:3. Adam said, and Paul wrote, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one. You see what happened? It said a man will leave his father and mother and unite to his wife. Wife is plural. I mean, wife is singular. If it were wives, it would be plural. But it said wife, which is singular. And then it said, and the two will become one flesh. It said two will become one flesh. So there it is. In the beginning, God's original plan was for it to be a man and a wife. Singular. But man and womankind, after Adam and Eve fell, it went a different way. So I'm going to tell you this. If you decide, brother, to deal with more than one woman, you have a free will. You do your thing and see what happens. Sister, you have a free will. Do your thing and you're going to see what happens. So what I'm telling you, brothers, and what I'm telling you, sisters, the question comes back to what's on the dinner table, what's on the menu at the dinner table. Should a woman be considered sharing a man with another woman? Sister, if you're willing to consider sharing a man with another woman, guess what? You got to accept not being the top woman in a relationship. Are you willing to accept not being the top woman in a relationship? They're right, brother. Lisa is stepping out of will of God. So, sister, if you want to consider sharing a man with another woman, are you willing to be not the number one woman? That's one thing you need to ask yourself. Are you willing not to be the number one woman? Another thing, are you willing to get the crumbs? What do I mean by the crumb? Breadcrumb. Are you willing to get the breadcrumb. He might not give you the whole loaf, but he's going to give you some crumbs. Are you willing to get the crumbs? Are you willing? Now, some women would say, there are some women out there that they pride themselves on being a side woman. Don't you know if some women out there, this thing, I have always said this. This right here, it is a wedding band. It's a male's wedding band. But don't you know another thing about this? This is a chick magnet. Some of you saying, what is a chick magnet? You know, a magnet pull things to it, right? Don't you, brother and sister, you need to realize this. There are a lot of women that prefer to just be in a relationship with a man that's already in a covenant relationship with another woman. There are some women that's all they want. They got their own stuff going on, but they're willing to settle for a piece of a man. Some women, they want a man. Some women out there, they say, I just want to deal with somebody. I want somebody that ain't got to commit to me, and I ain't got to commit to him. Just like when I'm ready to see him, I'm ready to see him, and he ready to see me. And he could just go on back to his wife. They'll add to some women that's cool with that. And they cool with it for years. Now, this is a situation too. Let's say you the side woman, and the man leave his wife, and they do not get a divorce, and y'all get assets together, y'all buy a house together and everything. Years go by, 20 a year, how many ever year. Let's say he buy a house, and you living in the house. You done decorate the house, you invest in the house and everything. He died. Him and his wife ain't seen each other in years, but they still legally married. Do you not realize everything that in that man's name, the wife could come and clean house? A lot of women don't think that. But the wife, she didn't have nothing to do with the husband for all those years. The wife, she could even, his wife that he's still married to, she could have a boyfriend. And her boyfriend, they got a house and everything. But the husband, the man that you messing with, he died. That wife come and get, if he got retirement and all that kind of stuff, you thinking you're going to get that because he signed a will. What is a will when this man is still married? What is a will? The judge going to look at that will, and the only thing the judge want to know is, are you married to him? Or he's still married to the other lady. All the judge needed documentation from that wife that man ain't seen for all those years, and she's going to come clean up. I have seen all that happen before. I have seen it. Interesting. Have you all seen that movie, Frankie Lymon, the Frankie Lymon story? If you're familiar with Frankie Lymon, he used to be with this group called the Teenagers. I think this guy named Lawrence Tate or something. He played the part of Frankie Lymon. Look at that movie. Look at that movie. It was 3 women when Frankie Lymon died that claimed to have access to his stuff. And the judge made a decision. 3 women. All of them didn't get it. It all went to one. The one that the judge recognized as the wife. You really threading on some hot and unstable, sister, when you get involved with a man that already got papers on it, like Richard Dimplefield. Y'all remember Richard Dimplefield? He had this song, She Got Papers on Me. Y'all remember that song, right? She Got Paper on Me. Richard Dimplefield telling this other woman that his wife got papers on him. So if his wife got papers on him, that means that she got claim to him. Do you want to chance that? That's something to consider if you want to share a man with another woman. But most women, not all women, most women prefer to be the number one woman in that man's life. It doesn't matter. It matter how it started off. Did you start it off God's way or you started off the world's way? If you start out God's way, you will be blessed. If you do not start it out God's way, you will be cursed. Because God doesn't bless mess. I'm just telling you, brothers. I'm telling you, sister, God does not bless mess. So for you women out there, particularly you sisters, if you involved with a man and you know he's with another woman, you know it. You knew it from day one. He did not hide it from you. Now, some women would say, well, at least he was up front with me. Yeah, he was up front. And you made a decision. He was up front and you made a decision. So what happened when he decided to cut you loose and go back and say, I'm going to work it out with my wife? What about some of the women that he keep promising the woman, I'm going to leave her. 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 He never leave her. He always coming up with excuses that he there for the children. He there for this. He there for that. What about some of you women that the man come over to where you at and you want him to spend the night with you? And he said, I can't do it. I got to go home. What about when you want to go on a trip with him? He said, I can't go. I can't go. I can't do that. Now, some men do it. Let me tell you how some men do it. They'll start an argument with their wives. They'll start something stupid. Like it's a piece of lint on the floor. Then you see that piece of lint on the floor. Why you put that lint up? They start crazy argument with their wives so they can go for a few days. That's how men do it. Let me tell you this, you sisters. A lot of time when men start stupid arguments, it's normally another woman that he trying to get to. Listen to what I'm saying. Most of the time when you hear a man start a stupid argument and it was peace and he started a stupid argument to both out the house, he trying to justify why he doing it with another woman. That's a strategy. I know some guys not going to like me telling this, but that's a strategy that some guys have. And brother, the same thing. If a woman start a stupid argument with you, more than likely it's another man out there what she trying to get to. That's how people like to do stuff. That's how you get away. You start a stupid argument. That's how it is. Watch out for the stupid senseless arguments, and then they can be gone, and then you call them, they don't answer the phone, and they keep going their voicemail, you text them, they don't respond. They with that other person. That could go male or female, they with the other person. And that's what they decide to do. I could talk on and on and on about this particular topic, but should a woman be willing to consider sharing a man with another woman? Count the cost. You going to be tormented. You could start out thinking that you could handle it. That's how a lot of women think. You think you could handle it. You think you could handle the fact, okay, I can handle that. He with someone else. But when you start, those feelings start kicking in, you're going to eventually tell him, I want you. And when you can't have him, then he start pulling back from you. You're going to start doing some crazy stuff. More than likely, I have seen it before. When you start telling that man you want him to leave his wife and all that kind of stuff, and he said, I'm not going nowhere. You all remember the movie or the Ray Charles movie with Jamie Foxx was in there? You remember that? Remember Regina King? She was acting like she was one of Jamie's background singers. You remember that particular scene. If you don't remember it, that's right, Sister Teresa, or somebody gonna get her. You all remember that scene when Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles in the movie and Regina King was a side woman. You remember this. You remember Regina King. It was two scenes in there. Ray Charles and his wife had moved to California in a big house. She called the house. She got that number some kind of way. What did Ray Charles / Jamie Foxx say? Don't call my house. Then this other scene, she wanted to get Ray Charles, Jamie Foxx, to leave his wife. What did he tell her? You knew the rules. I'm not leaving B. That's what Ray Charles, Jamie Foxx told Regina King. I'm not leaving B. You knew the rules. Sister, if you decide to be with a man and you know he already with a woman, you know the rules. Don't be surprised because you knew the rules. I'm going to tell you another thing. If you the side woman and he dealing with you and you think that by you going ghost on him and you trying to play a game on him to force him to leave, guess what he's going to do? When you start playing ghost and you want to and you don't want him to call you, he call you, you don't respond. He texts you, you don't respond because you're trying to force him to come to see you, right? Now, if he recognize what you're doing, you know what he's going to do? He's going to leave you alone and go get somebody else. And then you're going to feel like you're being played because you see he know you're playing a game. Especially if the man was a player in his young days, he know the game. But anyway, sister, if you decide to consider being with another woman, I mean, if you not another woman, but you decide to be with another, if you decide to be with a man that have another woman, and you know it, something's gonna happen. It's different if you don't know it. Now, there's a possibility that you don't know that he have a wife or a woman, but you sure have signed. You know what? You know what happened? You did not ask God from the beginning about that man, because if you asked God about it, God would have turned your discernment up, and you would have been able to put your finger that something is wrong with that man. If you would have asked God from the beginning, when that man came up and started sweet talking to you, you should have said that private prayer to God. Why is he talking to me? Did you send him to me? If you have peace, it was God. If you have any doubt, it's not God. Any doubt, just a little piece of doubt, it's not of God. It's of the evil one, Satan. So I hope that I helped some of you brothers. I hope that I helped some of you sisters out at the dinner table. I hope that you really learned something tonight. Take it to heart. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. If you have a question, put the word wait down there, or comment, put the word wait, and I'll address it. If you have something to say to any brothers or sisters, we can address it. If you don't put wait down there, I know it's time for us to depart. Take you a carrot plate, my brother. Take your carrot, my sister, and I will clean up the kitchen as normal. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, sister, for being here at the dinner table. Tomorrow, Lord willing, it's going to be a little late because tomorrow is a long work day for me, okay? On Wednesdays, let me tell you all this. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I work out of town, okay? I don't get back home until around about maybe 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I get back in town, okay? On Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I'm not going to come on the air until probably around about 9. So I'm letting you all know now. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, that's when I'll probably come on around about 9, because when I come home, I have to eat, I have to get comfortable, then I come and talk to you all, okay? So I just want you all to know, on Wednesday and Thursday, for right now, presently, it normally going to be around about 9 o'clock. But anyway, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. You all have a good night. Peace out. Good night.